Absolutely. In the U.S., but especially around the world. In the U.S., we were just chatting a moment ago, for those who just joined us, about the success of HGTV, and this is our latest magazine test. So you read every day in the newspaper about housing woes and all the issue in the housing market, but here's a product, HGTV, all around, home and garden television, that saw an enormous positive response by consumers to a fresh new product that found white space that otherwise was difficult to find. So there's always room to both revitalize an existing product, but as well as especially to create new ones. It's not without their risks, but if you have a good brand, a good promotion plan, it is still within success. And all of the new devices, in a world where there won't just be a tablet in every home, but there'll be 5 tablets and Nooks and Kindles and so on, that people have opportunities to consume our content with so much greater frequency. And you think about, your dinner with someone and dinner with a friend, and they mention a great article in Esquire, and then you have to remember with your newsstand or the bookstore or the airport to buy it, and you might forget. Now you go home and you open up one of your devices and you buy it, and it shows up a minute later. And so in terms of technology, the next wave takes all the friction out of the consumer experience and allows people, when they hear about something, to immediately to be able to activate. And what a great thing for us, not only for our current products, but also as a big magazine publisher, we sit on these vast archives of content that's been hard for us to create new products and make money from. And one of the interesting kind of stats we've learned about our tablet business to date is about 30% of our single copy sales are for issues that are no longer available for sale in ink and paper. So if you want the July issue of, Cosmo, and you can't find it so easily, you can still buy it. It's still valid, it's still relevant, it still pays off. And so we get an opportunity to create a backlist for content in a way that's always driven the book industry, and which has front list and backlist titles. We've only kind of been in the front list business, so we have all this new opportunity that's been created literally in the last 12 months. We don't see that all these new devices have any significant cannibalization on the print form. They tend to bring in incremental new readers, and so that's a real positive. We are investing in a number of our editions because we do want to be best in class in all of our titles. We do know that as far as advertising, you want to be ideally 1, 2, maybe 3 in terms of a category. You don't want to be 4 or 5. And so the old Jack Welch rule about, number 1 or number 2 or go home is certainly in place. And so if there's places where we feel that we should notch up and we should be more competitive, we're going to make an investment in that. And sometimes it's in the number of edit pages, and sometimes it's in the paper stock, or sometimes it's in the photography. And that we, at the same time, though, I will be honest that we're, being very aggressive and looking for efficiencies that consumers don't see. We have, a lot of our work that we're offshoring some of it in terms of production process. So the notion that what the consumers touch and feel has to be better than ever, but we have to really focus on pulling out all the necessary costs that are invisible to the end users. In our case, we are so fortunate to work at Hearst, this great company at this moment in time. But I do know that every day in scores of the proverbial garages in Silicon Alley and Silicon Valley, you have entrepreneurs who wake up wanting to take down News Corp, Advance, Time Warner, Hearst. And they do so fearlessly. They do so by not following normal rules and orthodoxies of what can and can't be done. And so, the only thing I really worry about is, we have to compete not against the other big multinationals. I think we know how to do that. We have to compete against a swarm of entrepreneurs. And so how can we have a company of enormous scale, but have that scale aid us and not get in the way? And that's what we think of every day, of how to be large and nimble, blessed with so much talent, with the ability to move fast. And if we can achieve that, then that's a significant accomplishment.